Ladies and gentlemen, introducing you to this bout. We do it in the welterweight division, and this one is proudly sponsored by Debra Village Meats. Introducing to you first, fighting out of the blue corner. Weighed in officially 76.95 kilos. From the Sunshine Coast in Queensland, trained out of the Integrated MMA gym tonight. He makes his professional debut. Give it up, make some noise. This is the Wolf, Declan Wolfinden. His opponent fighting out of the red corner, weighed in officially 77.45 kilos. From Brisbane, Queensland, he's trained out of the Team Compton Training Centre. He too makes his professional debut. Give it up, this is Jackson Weir-White. Thomas Churchill, third man in the cage.
This fight brought to you by Debra Village Meats, providing North Brisbane with quality meats and dairy since 1919. Search Debra Village Meats on Google for more information. Wolfinden versus Weir-White. Immediately both boys looking to land kicks at range.
We love both these guys are pro debuting. They're excited to test out the waters of 5-minute rounds, maybe throw some elbows if they like.
It does change the dynamic, doesn't it? It changes the grappling a little bit when you can throw those elbows in the clinch and on the ground.
Absolutely. It's one of those things, though, sometimes when you do have your pro debut, you almost forget that you got them to use. So we'll see if they do utilize them within here. But it looks like both boys are off to a great start with kicks, some teeps and some low leg kicks.
Wolfinden switching stances when it seems appropriate.
Great drawback from Wolfinden, changing into that orthodox.
He's using those light feet we alluded to earlier. But Weir-White seeming unfazed, looking for his shots and landing some of them. He saw that coming, got out of the way. It's just the dexterity of Wolfinden being able to throw that up there, and Weir-White just looking absolutely stoic, cutting off the cage. It seems to be his MO as Wolfinden turns it around and literally turns him around.
Well, great close of distance. He used that body lock right into the spine there and then tripped out on the outside. Perfect takedown by Wolfinden.
If you're Wolfinden here, Jaden, what are you looking to do?
It looks like, yeah, he's going to try and get that wrist right. He's going to try and pass his partner's, Jackson's wrist to his hand that's currently tight-waisting him and pin him. Or he's just going to keep riding him with this body lock and beating him up.
Yeah, fantastic position here. You go, Janae.
Bit attentive to his corner. They're probably asking him to work on either turning away and addressing that body lock or getting that left underhook back. But Wolfinden does really well, and now he's locked that position down. As we all know, that's such an uncomfortable position. You kind of got someone glued to you. You can use it to your advantage. We're seeing the elbows here today. These boys are ready to be a professional MMA fighter.
It really does change some of these positions, doesn't it?
Absolutely. You can open each other up with the elbows, and it changes that short distance range, especially if you're clinching or pummeling in like this.
It really looks to be something that Weir-White has trained coming into this fight. It's almost natural to him.
Weir-White definitely is using that head control on the cage. He's been here before. And using the overhook, switching it out to elbow. I love that. Wasn't successful getting the underhooks. Wolfinden worked well to sort of sprawl and get both his underhooks in, stopping the takedown.
Beautiful elbow there on the exit by Weir-White. He's really starting to limit some of the movement of Wolfinden, isn't he?
It kind of makes Wolfinden a little bit hesitant too to close the distance. He sort of initiated the clinch earlier, and now we're sort of seeing them both a little bit more at distance and at range. But Weir-White using the double right elbow.
I like that from Wolfinden. He's almost letting Weir-White go first too much.
Yeah.
If you want to maintain that range and you want movement, you do have to go. You've got to keep him off you.
Now you're hesitant and you're allowing the other person to accept the tempo and move in and close distance when he wants to.
That seems to be the vibe. Wolfinden almost becoming second fiddle in the fight. Weir-White looking to take the driver's seat, and he's doing exactly that.
Another clean elbow over the top there.
I mean, any time they're getting even close to each other, those elbows are just flaring out.
You would have thought Weir-White has thrown elbows in the past. Maybe he's had a few Muay Thai fights or throwing these bad boys in sparring because he knows how to use them.
Weir-White he looks like he knows how to use the difference in size and range. He's almost using it against Wolfinden, almost stifling.
Definitely not afraid to sit on an overhook and an underhook. Usually you're sort of working for the double underhooks, but those people that are comfortable in the cage, I know from experience, are always happy to sort of sit in that 50-50. If you've got the head control, you're controlling where the hips are facing, you're sitting in nice and tight with your own hips, and then you can work your own elbows like Weir-White is. It's an interesting approach, but it's super effective so far.
Weir-White, Jaden, just going to work and pummeling. It's such a crucial thing, but often misunderstood, isn't it?
I can confirm he trains a lot of elbows. I've been on the receiving end many a time in the last few weeks.
Oh, and another one just as you say that.
Was that for good reason, Jaden? You've obviously helped this camp out a lot.
Your sacrifice looks fantastic in there tonight, mate. Oh, and just buttery. He just slithers that underhook in and manages to maintain the position at the end of the round. How fantastic does Jackson Weir-White look?
Definitely wore down Wolfinden a lot. I think at the beginning it was pretty 50-50. These boys were filling each other out, throwing a lot of leg kicks and some teeps. And then once that distance closed and Weir-White was able to sort of use his weight against him, it really turned the tables after that first takedown that Wolfinden got.
Yeah, I mean, whenever Wolfinden was in range of the head of Weir-White, he was just grabbing it, and then it was just that right elbow, sometimes 2-3 times to follow. It's a fantastic thing to do, and it's incredibly intimidating that whenever you get close to someone, they're just throwing those elbows at you. It can back you up, and we saw that in that first round.
This is round 2.
Be interesting to see the adjustments that Wolfinden makes to the pressure of Weir-White.
Just trying to find a home for that lead elbow now, straight off the get-go. Using it as a frame as well, which is really cool.
Weir-White just so onto it. It's almost instinctual, just digging in for those underhooks. He got one on the shot, he got another one moments later. Wolfinden doing his best to get one back.
Back to head control in a 50-50 position, but super comfortable here. He's able to pop off some knees and then maybe work the elbows on the break.
Almost a gentleman's agreement to break there.
Oh, calf kick's going to wear on Wolfinden. Oh, beautiful tie palm with the knee to follow.
That hop in, almost that fake hopping in, faking the teep of Weir-White is fantastic, and it just goes to show that he's really in the head of Wolfinden. He can just come forwards, and Wolfinden almost goes into a defensive sort of posture and reaction to it.
Absolutely. The looks that we're seeing now, Wolfinden has sort of abandoned for the last couple of minutes of the fight, even though he was having a lot of success earlier on in round 1. He kind of needs to go back to that to turn the pace around or even up these strikes.
Those counter kicks were good while they lasted. It looks like Weir-White grabbed one of them, but Wolfinden looking to impose himself on the cage here, Jaden. What do you make of it?
He's doing a good job, but Jackson is pretty sophisticated on the fence. I know from experience, we train on the fence extensively. I think it's going to be hard for Wolfinden to find a way to get Jackson down on the fence. Jackson's always going to end up eventually reversing him, and then this is going to happen.
I mean, he looks fantastic. He's got that lower base because he does have those lower hips, and Wolfinden doing everything he can just to get to a position where he can break. Oh, perfectly timed there. How's the fight IQ dropping under, and Wolfinden again able to snake those underhooks in and get him off. But Weir-White, just the absolute visage of just tenacity, turning it back on again.
He's not afraid to stand and bang, but he uses those strikes to set up his entries, which is fantastic. He's he knows where he wants to be, and he's making sure all of his assets go towards that game plan.
It becomes a full game plan. You sort of just nailed it there. It becomes a full game plan. It's not just clinching. It's not just hitting those shots. It's not the elbows either. It's just a pressure game, and it is winning him the fight.
You can tell that the gas tanks are different at the moment. You could tell at the start of round 2. Wolfinden came out a little bit less pop. You know that Weir-White is exactly where he wants to be, and he can probably do this all day by the sounds of it, Jaden.
Jaden might be feeling some of those elbows still.
Emotional damage.
It's fantastic, isn't it? And the head control has been such a story of the fight as well. Weir-White able to just dig that forehead underneath the head.
Beautiful right elbow on the chin of Wolfinden. Talked about this earlier of the underuse of the clinch, and again, here is having such success going from the pummel to the Thai plum.
And it's the clinch breaks. Yeah, it's the clinch breaks. How often in MMA do you see the knockout on the break?
Oh, yes, he just used a beautiful left elbow to enter into an underhook. I know we were working that for my last camp, and it was something that's really hard to master, and sort of something that doesn't come as instinctual as you would expect, especially for grapplers. But here he's combining that sort of Thai style with grappling, and it's working perfectly for him.
I mean, it's what makes MMA such a different martial art, doesn't it? It is the blending of those styles.
And finding different ways how to do it, and this seems really innovative.
It's fantastic, isn't it? I mean, you want to talk about a guy who's ready to make his pro debut. He's standing right in front of us.
Wolfinden has an iron shin to the eating those elbows.
And a huge one, right as you said that. Wolfinden able to reverse. And those underhooks again, he's like a forklift. He just digs those things under, lifts him up, and boom!
At any opportunity, he'll sneak a little elbow in. And
100%.
Perfect timing. He knows the mark. Jaden's chin, he remembers it well.
It almost makes you not want to pummel. As soon as he starts pummeling, he just eats an elbow. It's like, well, I'll just lose.
I don't want to create space.
Yeah, exactly. I'll just lose the grappling rather than get smashed in the face.
Absolutely. And then in that sense, you just get weighed down by his weight. So it's a lose-lose for Wolfinden at the moment. He really needs to adjust. Keep it at range, I reckon.
Weir-White, as soon as he pressures in, he's almost ready for that reactive shot.
Yeah.
He gets those frames in place.
Wow, another dominant round from Weir-White. Like you said, it's always easy to come up with a game plan and everything, but sometimes it's really hard to articulate that in the cage when the time comes. But by the looks of things, this is Weir-White's bread and butter. It's like he was made to clinch an elbow for 3 rounds.
Yeah, and as we go to the replay, I mean, it's so easy to do when you're winning, isn't it? Once you just steamroll, it snowballs. It goes, just more is more. The adrenaline works on your side rather than working against you. And Weir-White just doing exactly that. It'll be very interesting to see if Wolfinden can make any sort of adjustments to turn this one around, because arguably he needs to have a spectacular finish in this round to be able to take the fight away.
Absolutely relentless with those elbows, really holding the pace, and you can tell he's fueling up the energy of the momentum. It's the other way around in the blue corner.
Crazier things have happened, and that is why we love this sport.
Round 3.
Weir-White and Wolfinden, round number 3 in this professional bout.
I know Wolfinden comes from a fantastic gym, arguably one of the longest standing in Queensland, so I'm sure he had some great advice. Let's see if he can use it.
Looked like Wolfinden attempted to stand and trade back there, not give that back foot, but then as soon as he does so, Weir-White is all over his hips. It's got to be frustrating.
It's a bit repetitive, isn't it, when you just end up in that same clinch position, someone keeps
100%.
closing the distance.
It would just erode your will to fight away.
Absolutely.
And if you Weir-White, just copy and paste, do exactly what you're doing to win.
Spam that X button for sure.
100%. I mean, at this level, it's on Wolfinden to make the adjustments and change the fight. If you're Weir-White, you're just doing more of the same, because it is more than effective.
Like we said in the last round, Wolfinden had a lot of success with switching stances, a lot of leg kicks, maybe even some calf kicks and some teeps to keep at range. He can go back to that and just maybe keep it standing for just a little bit longer and stop this barrage of elbows and clinch, then maybe he'll have a little bit more success at turning it around.
And again, just resorting to push Weir-White to try and get him off him. And even that appears fruitless. Weir-White is on the hips again.
Wolfinden thinking about the neck, but back in that grapple exchange. You've got to think maybe he's afraid of a few more elbows coming through if he creates too much distance.
You'd have to be at this point. And there it is, exactly as we called it. It's fantastic. I mean, he's got that Cain Velasquez-esque. You get worried about the pummeling and he just smashes you with a strike and gets back to pummeling again.
He's got such a great base too, where he can pop off some heavy uppercuts, then the elbows, then sit straight into this onslaught of the grapple.
I mean, they were just at this door 20 seconds ago, and Weir-White has taken him across the cage to that door. The pressure that he's able to apply is fantastic.
Another 3 minutes left in this round. You can tell it's wearing Wolfinden down.
But there's no give up. He hasn't stopped.
Absolutely.
He literally hasn't
still
stopped.
finding a way to win, but just unfortunately hasn't figured out that solution yet.
And Weir-White just fantastic at getting those underhooks again off the shot. Wolfinden had the better position, and then all of a sudden Weir-White has got the underhook.
You definitely tell that Weir-White's only going for takedowns if they're 100% available to him.
Yes.
He wants to stay here. Wolfinden has great ability to avoid these takedowns and stay standing when he does get imbalanced, but at the same time, it's not even really where Weir-White wants to be.
It's almost survival instinct.
Yep.
And you can see Wolfinden just almost waiting for the punch and the strike to come.
Absolutely. Sort of anticipating that he's going to get the distance closed once again, so he's sort of moving back on that same square angle.
And it is so difficult when you just think about the insane anaerobic just output that you have to even survive and then muster up the will to fight and try and mount a finish in a fight where you're down by 2 rounds. It's unbelievable. It's inhuman. People shouldn't be able to do it. But in this sport, sometimes miracles do happen. And Wolfinden looking to do exactly that with 1:30 left. Oh, and a huge takedown!
A calf kick from Wolfinden. This is exactly what we're saying. A little bit of distance gives him the opportunity to do what he wants to do.
Oh, and urgency could be his friend.
Another 1:20 left in this round. Plenty of time to work from this position. He's in the half guard. He's got his hips in a nice position.
I mean, Jaden, what are you doing from here? Are you trying to pass the guard and cinch up a sub? Are you going to work strikes? I mean, the clock is not your friend with 1 minute left.
Yeah, especially if Jackson's able to put him back inside of the closed guard. If I was Jackson, I would probably do the exact same thing, knowing that I've dominated most of the fight beforehand.
He's playing it smart, isn't he? He's protecting himself from that arm, fighting off the choke and just trying to get Wolfinden into an inferior position, at least from the top, so he can't mount that comeback.
Wolfinden doing really well to stay on top. There was a few opportunities for Weir-White to get out of here, but at the same time, Wolfinden adjusted and stayed on this top position. His leg is now exposed. We'll see if Weir-White attacks it.
And a different rule set, isn't there, Jaden, for attacking the legs when we're talking pro fights?
Yeah, absolutely. Heel hooks are in, so it's possible for Jackson to attack the leg, but it looks like he has chosen to try elbow Wolfinden from the bottom instead.
We love a desperation shot from the ground. 10 seconds left. Wolfinden needs to empty the tank.
Wolfinden just managing to return the favour, at least in the closing stanza of this fight.
Such a great finish to a 3-round
100%. A very, very dominant fight from Weir-White. But the poetic sort of moral victory for Wolfinden was never out of the fight. He kept moving, like we said. And right at the end, he managed to get that clinch takedown. And he went to work in the closing stanza so he can hold his head high on that.
Absolutely. He showed, like we said, for pro debuts, he showed that he has a lot of great looks, a lot of great standing looks. He has great distance, and then he can control on the ground. But it was just that sticking to the game plan and being able to execute it so perfectly from Weir-White that just gave him that edge during the whole fight.
100%. And sometimes it's not the actual skills involved, it's the things in between. It's the mental game. It's being able to put those together that separates the amateurs from the pros. But Wolfinden will have nothing but experience from this that he can use in his next outing, which I hope is very, very soon, because he's a fantastic talent. And this was just an incredible opponent that he ran into tonight.
Absolutely. Like we knew on paper, these guys were pretty much neck and neck for experience and style. We knew this was going to be a barn burner, both pro debuting, and someone has to unfortunately come out with the L, but both coming out with a ton of experience either way.
Weir-White. I mean, we'll remember that name for the alliteration and for the pressure and the overall game that you alluded to. It wasn't just one thing. It wasn't the shots that he was hitting. It wasn't the strikes. It wasn't the footwork just pressuring and moving forwards. It was a legitimate game plan, and that's the difference between an amateur acting on instinct almost and when you become a pro. And it was incredible showing from him here tonight. Bear with us for a moment, folks. Having some technical difficulties. The sheer power of James O'Shea's voice blowing out a microphone.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for both of our fighters. What a great fight that one was. Brought to you thanks to Debra Village Meats. We go to the judges' scorecards. The first judge saw the fight 29-28. And our second card scored the contest 30-27. And our third judge adjudged the contest 29-28. All to your winner by unanimous decision. And it goes to the red corner, Jackson Weir-White.
Stand up, Cardew Martial Arts and Team Compton Training Centre. Whatever the hybrid gyms working in league have done with Jackson Weir-White, it is working incredibly well.
Absolutely. I was going to say, allude to the two great teams that he has in Ipswich and in Team Compton. I want to know who came out with this game plan. Back to James.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll grab a few words with our winner. Pretty pumped up in here. What's that one mean to you?
Man, that's amazing. That's a lot of hard work, blood, sweat and tears going into the last camp. And, you know, actually coming off back-to-back losses in my amateur career, the team at Compton and Shannon Landy at Cadoo pushed me to just go pro, just send it, burn the boats, and that's what I did, and here I am, victorious pro debut.
And what a way to do it. The team in commentary were talking about just an exceptional fight plan for yourself. Did it play out how the team planned it would tonight? Was that how the plan was meant to go?
Yeah, it went exactly to plan. We were looking to engage with those short-range shots and the elbows. I know Declan's a really tough competitor and he's very formidable on the ground, so we tried to avoid that as best as possible, and it worked. So, yeah, credit to the team around me for that.
And last but not least, the atmosphere in here, amazing. What's it mean to you, all these people here that have come along to cheer for you tonight?
Yeah, special shout out to the busload of troops that came in to support me tonight. It means the world to me. I turn up to fight every single night, and it's always exciting when you watch me. So stay tuned for the next one, because I'm going to keep coming back.
Put your hands together for him, ladies and gentlemen. Your victor here tonight, that's Jackson Weir-White.